Hello, today we're going to learn how to study smarter instead of harder. We will learn about brain-based research and cognitive psychology to study smart and to create long-term learning habits. Today's presentation is based upon the book Make It Stick: The Science of Successful Learning by Peter Brown, Henry Roediger III, and Mark McDaniel. Learning is like a puzzle piece in the center of your brain. In order to learn, you need to take that piece of information, retrieve it from the brain, explain it to others, and then apply it. Put the information back into the brain and repeat that process. Let's take a look at some study tips for students. Try to space your practice. Spreading out study sessions will help to retrieve information better and will help to retain what is learned. Spacing helps the information embed into long-term memory. That's why cramming does not work. We will not be able to retain that information after a short period of time. For information to stick, we need to practice in an active fashion instead of passive. Active practice would be like creating and doing self-quizzes, taking practice tests, using flashcards, transforming your notes into another format, perhaps charts or graphs or pictures. And then another form of active practice is learning mnemonic devices, example like PEMDAS or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally for the order of operation. Let's take a look at testing effect. When you go to do a practice quiz or a practice exam, you want to take that practice test or exam without using any notes or other aids because you want to rely on memory. It may be difficult, but it will help it stick. So recalling should be challenging in order to gain long-term benefits. You also want to, in the testing effect, you want to find out what do you actually know and what don't you know so you know where to focus. To reflect on learning, you want to be able to identify key ideas or give examples of the concept you're learning and try to make connections to what you already know. A really strong piece of advice is, can you summarize what you have learned? And most importantly, could you teach that concept to someone else? Practice doing that. Another effective strategy is to alternate between topics or subjects. When you're preparing for a final exam like history or chemistry or psychology, study these topics each day rather than just doing one subject a day. Remember, it is that puzzle piece you're pulling from your brain, using it, explaining it, putting it back. In review, one of the aspects of learning is, for learning to be useful, learning requires memory, so that what you have learned is still there later when we need it. A quote from Peter Brown is, "People think that learning takes place when you use your 5 senses. It really happens when you take that information from the brain." Another review: an individual needs to keep learning and remembering all through life. Retrieval practice, quizzing yourself over space and time, strengthens memory and interrupts forgetting. Aristotle is famous for a quote, "Exercise in repeatedly recalling a thing strengthens the memory." Remember, learning is an acquired skill, and the most effective strategies are often counterintuitive. Rereading text and massed practice of a skill or new knowledge are by far the preferred study strategies of learners, but the least productive. Remember, retrieve information, share with others, and practiced over spaced time. Remember, study hard, but study smart. The main resource for today is the book, Make It Stick: The Science of Successful Learning. I encourage you to get hold of this book and learn its awesome material.